Hey guys, Super Guys on Final Wars here, and I'm back for another video. Today I'm going to be doing a new review series on the channel, and this time that's right, it's Dinosaur Week time. I know I'm a little late because, well, this is the month that frickin' Jurassic World Dominion was released at. But still. So today, if you're wondering if I'm going to be reviewing any Jurassic Park movies, the answer is no. The reason why I'm going to be reviewing the Land Before Time series, the entire series, every single movie until we reach to the very last one. Now, before we start, I just want to say this. About 3 months ago, King Ghidorah 3 and Zildjian and I were getting requests by friends of King Ghidorah 3 and Zildjian. They've been constantly asking me to review the Land Before Time series and ask why I hate it so much. For the past 3 months, we've been ignoring them. But I think it's time that you guys finally know what are my thoughts about this series and why I hate it so much. So instead of talking about the entire series in one day, I might as well do a review of the entire series, one at a time. So without further ado, let's get started with the first movie. This was possibly the first Land Before Time movie I ever saw when I was a little kid. It sort of followed more like realistic dinosaurs because there was a lot more roars, growls, and but a long time ago there was the dinosaurs. They were living peacefully, and of course there were herbivores. The herbivores used a lot of their energy to eat the plants. That doesn't make any sense, because if you're using energy to eat the plants, that regains your energy. That makes no freaking sense. And then, of course, we have the carnivores, the animals that eat the herbivores. The carnivores eat the herbivores, so therefore they're more like classified as villains in this sort of little universe. Anyways, the herbivores are trying to get to a place called the Great Valley. But of course they had to stop to, obviously, hatch their children, and of course they had to migrate there, but at the same time they had to freaking get some food for their children. The first one being born is Ducky, then later Sarah, then later Littlefoot. We don't really see Petrie being born. Spike gets literally born in the middle of the movie. Anyways, the characters, they try to get to the Great Valley, but Littlefoot and Sarah try to play, but apparently Sarah's father, Topsy, stops them from playing because, well, three horns never play with long necks, or should I say, realistically, the real name for the Triceratops and the Apatosaurus is also what the names I just said. Triceratops never play with Apatosaurs or sauropods. They almost get every single name of these animals messed up. Sure, my dad, I was kind of talking to my dad at one time, and he kind of said that that's what these animals must have called each other back then if they did talk like us. I, of course, don't believe that. I believe they sort of called names that were sort of related to their name, to the real names. Anyways, Littlefoot, his mom, his grandmother, and his grandfather are basically like the last members of their herd. And what's more sort of dark about this movie was that Littlefoot was originally supposed to have siblings, but they all got killed. But anyways, Littlefoot and Sarah play again. This time, they didn't get interrupted by their parents, but instead, they got interrupted by a T-Rex. The T-Rex gains chase, but later, Littlefoot's mom saves both Sarah and Littlefoot, but the T-Rex fights back and brutally rips a chunk of flesh off of Littlefoot's mom's back. But in the end, she manages to defeat the T-Rex after saving Littlefoot and Sarah from falling off of a cliff. Eventually, almost all the dinosaurs get separated from their children. Littlefoot's mom dies. And he's basically out in the mysterious beyond all on his own. Eventually, he does meet up with Sarah, but they just go their separate ways again. But eventually, Littlefoot does meet up with Ducky and Petrie. I wish we still kind of saw Petrie being born, but as much as I don't like this franchise, I will admit, this is possibly the only Land Before Time movie that I actually do like. Mainly because, well, the story makes sense, the plotline makes sense, most of the characters are kind of understandable and reasonable at the same time. But at the same time, again, this film does have its fair share of problems. Now, of course, it doesn't take long for... Sorry. I just got done eating some dinner, so... Anyways. After Littlefoot tries to get Petrie to fly, because apparently Petrie can't fly, which that makes no sense, Sarah literally acts all brave and goes down to the cliff where the T-Rex fell, and literally wakes it up. It was unconscious. I'm actually kind of surprised that it's still alive, actually. When I saw this, I was like, holy crap, how are you still alive? But yeah, Sarah, as a Triceratops, and as one of T-Rex's favorite food, stupidly wakes it up. I swear, this mistake's more stupid than freaking Storm Guts Ultimus' mistakes. Because a baby Triceratops literally wakes its worst enemy. But eventually, Ducky meets up with Spike after she kind of helps him hatch out of his egg, and after he kind of got lazy to hatch, and kind of eats the surrounding food. Anyways, they all try to get to the Great Valley by finding some food so they can stay alive, eating some water, and all that crap. And Sarah continues to try to convince the others that the T-Rex is still alive. However, Littlefoot, on the other hand, it fell because of, well, it got basically beef-slapped by Littlefoot's mom in the face. So, yeah. But eventually the T-Rex does show itself again, and this time Littlefoot now believes it's Sarah. So the monster that killed his mom is back. And this time he's ready for round 2, and this time Littlefoot's mom ain't around to save them. They're on their own. They had to face this monster head on. But really, I don't really consider the T-Rex as a monster. He's just doing what he can to survive. But I'm more curious on why is it so on dead folks on after Littlefoot and his friends. Like, it probably smelled the scent of Littlefoot's mom. It was more like, oh, hell no. Oh, no, no, no. She cannot still be alive. I swear to God. I'm pretty sure that's what he was like. But yeah. Anyways, they try to get away from the T-Rex as far as possible. Eventually, they try to get to the Great Valley, but when they try to, a fight breaks up between Sarah and Littlefoot. Mainly because Sarah made fun of Littlefoot's mom, and he got angry, and they started to a fight. And they got into a fight. Realistically, it'll be more like the Triceratops will be winning. And because it could just impale the frickin' Apatosaurus with its horns, instantly killing it. And also, realistically, these two animals would never even meet in the first place because they lived at different time periods. The Apatosaurus lived in the Jurassic, and the Triceratops lived in the Cretaceous. So therefore, there'll be no clear winner on who will win in this fight. But in my opinion, I think the Triceratops will absolutely kill the Apatosaurus, especially as a baby. Well, unless they were born in the same nest and they see each other as siblings, then that'll be a completely different story. After the fight, they all split up, and of course, almost everything goes wrong. But then until Littlefoot shows up and saves everyone else. Except for almost making a stupid prank on Sarah, which made her realize that she went the wrong way, and made her realize that Littlefoot was right. But at the same time, she just wants to go back to her dad. Because at this size, she's just a baby. They all are just babies at this point. They say that they're more like 10-year-olds, but they were born just a while ago. So therefore, they were just born a few days ago. So in other way, they're still technically considered as babies. Anyways, moving on. So, the T-Rex comes back again. This time, they fight back by pushing it into a lake. With the help of Sarah, and of course Petrie finally knows how to fly. Because with the help of the T-Rex. And after that, they finally head to the Great Valley, and happily ever after. Honestly, this movie is not that bad. It's not great, but it's not that bad. So, therefore, storyline, plotline, and, of course, the direction of the story was all perfect. I did have a few problems with the movie, besides the names that the creatures have been giving each other. But either way, I give this movie 7.5 golden T-Rex stars out of 10. Hope you guys like this video. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye-bye.